So, guys, the topic for today's session would be like I'll be talking about some of the most important effects which are present in HTML. Okay, so before beginning with this meeting, like any hints, guys, like what are the effects which we already have available in HTML and which is important. So, if you'll give me some 2 3 examples, that would be great.
Excuse me, ma'am, I'm having a doubt. This month will be of cloud computing now.
No, I think today I'll be covering this, and then in next session maybe I'll cover cloud computing.
Ma'am, because we have only one session left after this session.
Okay, then, like even if one session is if one session is pending, I'll take it long. Like I'll take it 2 hours or so.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So actually, I was not told that you're willing for a session on cloud computing. If that was the thing, then I would have like made myself prepared with the slides and log in for Google Cloud Console.
Ma'am, it's like this. We have 1 month for web development and 1 month for cloud. So
Oh,
we
okay.
are done for 1.5 months. So
Acha, okay. Then what I'll do is like next session probably what I'll do is like I'll stretch it for 2 hours and then I'll cover all the cloud topics which you should know.
okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay then yeah. So I was on to HTML effects. So Divyansh, will you be able to tell me some HTML effect tags which are already present in HTML?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then let me begin with this meeting. Yeah, so today I'll be covering like some like these are some of the basic tags which people should know. Like we have iframe tag, we have some other parallax effect tag. We have like if someone asks you to add emojis into your web program, then how do we do that? Because we cannot simply take an emoji image and then add it. There are some predefined ASCII values which we should use. So I'll be telling you how to embed all those things also in today's session. The first tag is iframe tag. Okay, so iframe tag is short for inline frame and is a powerful element in web design. And then the HTML iframe tag defines an inline frame, and inline frame is used to embed another document with the current HTML document. Okay, so why do we use iframe? So for example, if I have for example, let's say if I have a YouTube video. Okay, so for example, if I want to embed this particular YouTube video in my web program. Okay, so I'll not have like what is a typical method. We'll download this, we'll then export the path, but that's not the solution, right? That's not the long term solution. So the readily available option is to using an iframe tag, and using this particular tag, what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to embed any kind of videos, you'll be able to embed any kind of websites. For example, you'll be able to link any third party tools as well using iframe tag. So how do you use it? So for example, if you want to embed a YouTube video in your program, so any ideas, Divyansh, how you'll do it? How will you embed this particular YouTube video in your program? Okay, so we have an option here. So, for example, let me just give you a typical example of how iframe works. So, if you click here, there would be an option for embed. Okay, so once you click on this embed button, you see here the tag which is being used is iframe. So this is how coding and then tagging works. So anything, for example, anything you'll see on Flipkart page or any other page, there would be some or the other tag which would be behind that particular source. Okay, so if you want to embed this particular YouTube video in your program, what you have to do is you have to copy this particular and copy this entire file path. Okay, so particularly what we have in iframe tag is you basically have to provide the width of your video. What is the width you're planning to give? What is the height you're planning to give? And then this is an important part. This source determines this would remain constant. So for example, what is my source? My source is www.youtube.com/embed/ this is my source path. Okay, so this would remain constant. It can be any source, for example. Okay, and then this is my title, video player, frame border, and then these are some HTML elements which are there. So for example, picture in picture I want, reference policy strict I want, when cross origin, and then I want to allow it on full screen. So that's why I'll be using this. So what I'll do is I'll copy this and then I'll paste it into my HTML code, and based on what particular stylings I want to use, I'll be using this particular iframe tag. So any video, any web page, for example, or any third party website, you'll be able to embed it using iframe tag. Okay, so we have this tag. Okay, I'll show you also. I'll run a code also using this particular tag, and I'll show you how do we embed 2-3 YouTube videos in your program, and how do we make changes into height and width. Okay, so the next,
Excuse me, ma'am.
yeah,
No, what does embedding means?
embedding means, so for example, I have this particular. Let me open. Let me run a program on iframe. Okay, so this is a sample program. Okay, so let me run this code to make you understand. So where is my iframe tag example? Okay, so you're able to see, right? So this is a normal HTML code, right? This is a normal blank page. So what embedding means here is I embedded this particular YouTube video. I just imported this YouTube video into my website. So embedding means importing any kind of videos or source websites or source images which are already present on internet. So embedding those things. So embedding means just importing that particular feature into your HTML program.
So this YouTube video will play.
Yeah, it will play. If I run here, it will be playable.
Okay. It just means you need to uh, import some other videos on your web page.
Yeah, yes. Embedding means importing features web on your web page or normal HTML program.
Okay.
So here, if you'll go to any website or any page. So for example, if I go to flipkart.com, okay, and then if I want to embed this particular website into my HTML code, what I'll do is I'll just change the source path. Okay, I'll just change the source to this. Change the source. Actually, I did not copy only. Control C. I'll come here. I'll change the source path. Okay, so this means that I have embedded Flipkart.com page onto my website. Let me just save it. Control S. Rerun this. So you see, I was able to embed Flipkart.com page onto my website, right? So this is how it works. Even you'll be able to click as well on elements here. You're able to see, right, Divyansh?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So why it is not opening? Because there are some, because Flipkart.com, you know, right? It would be having some copyrights and preservations with it. So
Yes.
the front page you were able to load, but after that, if you'll click anywhere else, it will not work, because it's like copying someone else's website into your website, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's why it did not work. But the front page would load. So for example, if it's an open source website and it's free to use, so you'll be able to embed that particular website into your HTML code using iframe tag. It's a very powerful tag in HTML, Divyansh. So
Yes.
there are more features and functionalities available. You can maybe explore yourself as well.
So iframe is used for embedding only.
Yeah, it is used for embedding. You'll be able to embed any kind of videos or third party websites or educational websites. So there are websites, so for example, geeks.geeks. No, that is also, I think it's not open source, it is paid. So any open source website, so for example, you're developing your own website, okay? And then you want to give a reference of geeks.geeks in your particular website. Just think that it's open source and it's freely available. So you'll be able to add that feature, and you'll be able to add more, like add all the features of that particular website as a demo video, for example.
Yes, ma'am. Got
So
it.
how you'll be able to see websites, right, where they tell you that before opening this website, just go through the quick demo session. So how that demo is being imported, it's imported using iframe tag. So for example, there would be websites, right? So for example, consider this particular website ready, okay, and they even have their what do we say, they even have their web page available. Okay, see,
Yes, ma'am.
buy me a coffee. So what they'll do is, before on onto their website, what they'll do is, before referring to that website, you just refer to this YouTube video first to get a quick insight of what this what this website is all about. So how that is done, it is done through iframe tag. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
yeah, so let's go ahead. So this is my example. iframe is the one, and then here you'll be using src tag to give the source video, and then all these things are css content, how you'll style your videos, how you give height, how you give width, all these things, and then you end your iframe tag with slash iframe. Okay, and then ol and ul you are aware of.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this was very easy because we have OL and UL. Like with OL, you'll be able to maintain ordered list. With UL, you'll be able to maintain unordered list, and then with li tag, you'll be able to maintain a list of items. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's go ahead. Iframe OL UL. Yeah, you're aware of di tag. Okay, so
No,
let
ma'am.
me so let me explain what DL tag is all about. So DL is basically description list. Okay, so how you're able to see here. So for example, here I have written HTML effects as my header topic, and then I have given a description to my list. Okay, so this is my header, and how I have described this HTML effects topic, that my name is Rimjam, and I'll be covering this. Okay, so DL tag will give you will enable this type of feature. So for example, we have di tag, like how in what do we say, in ol and ul I have li tag to maintain the list. So similar to this, we have dl tag, which defines the description list. We have dt tag, which describes the name or term name in that particular list. So when I run that program, so basically this is my dl, so this is my description term, which is my header basically, and this is my list which I'm giving to my dt. Okay, so in this way it runs. So if you want to enable this kind of feature, or if you want to show this kind of thing in your html program, you have to use dl and dt tag. Okay, so for
Okay, ma'am.
example, how in websites we have that this particular page is authored by Rimshim Kumari. Okay, so in that case I'll be using dl tag if you want that kind of feature. Okay, so we have DL tag, which describes the description list, similar to LI tag, where I'll describe an OL, what do we say, where I'll make an unordered list or I'll make an ordered list. And then in that particular list, how do I give elements? I'll give using LI tag. So similar to that, in DL, we'll use DL tag to define my description list, and DT tag to define the term name in that description list. For example, this is my list, and how am I describing it using this coffee element? Okay, let's move ahead. Okay, anybody is aware like what are the ASCII values present? Like what do we say? What are the ASCII values present? So, for example, if I want to print A to Z, okay, in C or C program or any programming language, so what is the ASCII value you'll use for lowercase and uppercase? Divyansh, Tushar, or Harsh, if anybody can help me
Ma'am,
with the ASCII
can
value.
you repeat the question?
Yeah, my question was, what is the ASCII value for uppercase and lowercase? So, for example, if I give you a task to print uppercase into your HTML program or C++ program, any programming language you consider, so what are the values present for lowercase and uppercase?
In Python, we use is upper to make all the letters in uppercase.
Yeah, that is okay. So in my previous session also I showed you there is a function available, okay? But if I want to print only A, like 1 second, let me just open my notepad to give you a clear ask. Okay, so I have A to Z, okay, and then I want to print it. And then my second ask is caps lock A to caps lock Z. So how I'll do it? Because computer won't understand, right? A to Z value. There are predefined string functions available. That is okay. But what is the numeric value associated with smaller case and uppercase? Guys, this is very basic. And then this kind of questions you have to face in interviews as well. Like I did this kind of programs when I was in my 12th standard itself. So
Ma'am,
how?
will the interviewer ask about SI values?
Yeah, you. This is very common, right? So, for example, right now I asked you, and then you're not aware of how you'll print lowercase and how you'll print uppercase. String functions are okay, but what is the value behind a, so, like smaller a and then smaller z? This is very basic, right? This is like ABC of programming language.
Don't know.
You're not aware?
No, no.
Okay, so lowercase has 97 to 122. Okay, and uppercase is 65 to 90. 65 to 90. So these are predefined values. Let me just open internet also. Lowercase and uppercase. See here, lowercase is ASCII value for uppercase alphabet is 65 to 90, and then value of lowercase alphabets is 97 to 122. Okay, so let me just run a program. I think I had it with me. I think it was open in Notepad. ASCII. Yeah. So for example, I want to display ABC. Okay, I want to display ABC. So as I told you, uppercase value for A is 65, B is 66, C is 67. Okay, so if I run this particular code here, in place of 65, 66, 67, A, B, C should be printed. Correct. So let me run this code. See, I told you, right? Instead of 65, 66, 67, ABC will be printed.
Is it like heading 1 to heading 6, or it is different from that?
Can you come again?
It is like we type in HTML like heading 1. It will be in bold characters. Or
Yeah, that is okay. You'll add bold, caps lock, and all those things. But the ASCII value associated. So, for example, right, computer will not understand ABC. They only understand numbers. They understand binary numbers. So, what will happen if you want to print ABC, or if you want to give input, or if you want to print to the console ABC letters? This is okay. This is a printing statement. That's why I'm able to do it. But if I want to use numbers to print this ABC, then how I'll be able to do it? So this is a predefined value. It will not change, and it will never change. So here I'm doing it. This language I'm using here is HTML. Okay, even if you run this program 65, 66, 67 in C or C++, or even in Python, you'll get a similar output.
means these are assigned to the alphabets. Like if I type 65, it will display A.
Yeah, yes, correct. So for example, if I type here, let's say um, 78. Okay, let's see. 65 to 90 we are having, right, for uppercase. Let me save it and let me rerun it. So 78 is N. See here, I got N as my output. Okay, so similar to lowercase also, if I go in my notepad, and what I'll do is I want to print smaller a, smaller b, and smaller c. So for lowercase, the value was 97. It will start from 97. So what I'll do is I'll use 97.
90 to 120.
Yeah, 99 for lowercase it was 97 to 122. So 97, 98, and then 99. So this is my value for ABC. Okay, so if I save this, if I rerun my code, it will print smaller case. You see here? So this is how, like, this is logic building basically. So if somebody is asking you how do you print lowercase and uppercase, string functions and all those things are fine, but you should know what are the ASCII values associated with any alphabet in a programming language. Okay. So in HTML, how do we print it? We basically use the symbol ampersand followed by hash. Okay, so even if you want to print an emoji, there is a predefined value to given to that particular emoji. So you have that you have to use that number and then followed by ampersand and then hash sign. Let me go back to my slide again. So I was here. So as I told you, if you use ampersand hash, so let's see 128513. Okay, 128513. 128513. Okay, let me save this program. This will print an emoji. So every emoji has a particular UTF set defined to it. So if you want to print an emoji, you have to use that number. See, so if you have to print even emojis, you have to make sure what is the UTF value which is covering that particular emoji in your in that particular language. So for example, emojis are characters from the UTF-8 character set. Emojis look like all these things are basic. UTF-8 characters almost covers almost all the characters and symbols in the world. So if you want to print any emoji, let's say even which is not present here, you have to search on internet for that particular emoji and you have to get this particular UTF code. And then like how you have to declare it, ampersand hash followed by 1. So for example here, let me just put a random number. So I've used here 13, right? Let me just use it 222. Let's see which emoji comes up. Yeah, so you see every emoji will have a UTF character set associated with it. So lowercase and uppercase is like very basic. So that's why I asked you. I'll like this is not expected that you remember all this character set because it's easily available on internet. But you should know how do you declare it. You have to declare it followed like predefined by ampersand and then hash. Okay. So let's go. I was done with DL, and then the most important topic is like most important HTML after followed by what do we say, iframe is parallax effect. So what parallax basically means is in this it how like, so for example you're able to see, right, like but this is a slide, okay, and then I'm able to hover my slide and then I'm able to perform a sliding kind of effect in this particular window. So where was it? So how parallax effect will work is, so if, for example, if you have a image in the background and then if you want to have a scrolling effect over it, so in that case you'll be using parallax tag. Okay, you'll be using parallax effect. Okay, so what parallax effect is? So parallax scrolling is a website trend where the background content and image is moved at a different speed than the foreground content. So basically it's a kind of scrolling effect. Okay, so let me run that program to make it clear first. So this is my code, okay, parallax code. So what I'll do is let me run it. This is my code, open. So here you're able to see, right, there's an image in the background. Okay, and then what this effect is all about is, so for example you'll get a scrolling effect here. So this is a parallax effect that you'll be able to scroll over the image at a different speed. See, so if you see this particular page, which was my normal HTML program, if I want to do a scrolling over this particular page, I'll not be able to do it, even on the iframe tag page. So this was the first program which I run. So if you're able to see here, there is no scrolling effect present. Okay, so if you want to add a scrolling effect, you have to use parallax tag. So this is how it will look. So let me go through the syntax first. Where is my slide? So this is the basic syntax which you have to use. So background size. So background size can be auto, length, cover, or content. So you have to give any value out of auto, length. You can give auto, you can give length. If you want to cover your background size to the entire website page, so in that case you'll be using cover. And then if you want to contain it, so for example, if just like in your entire web page, if you just want to give a small portion to that particular image, you'll be using contain. Okay, and then so for example, right, how scrolling will work. There has to be an x and y value associated, like how it happens in graph. Okay, so here the x and y value will come into place. So repeat x, repeat y. Okay, so let me just make it into, yeah, so here you're able to see, right, so here I'll be building an x and y axis. So this would be my y axis, this would be my x axis. Okay, so how I will run that particular image over x axis and y axis. So this is my repeat x. Okay, so here my repeat x will work and here my repeat y would work. Okay, and then if I want no repeat, I'll be using no repeat in my background repeat. Okay, and then how do I want my attachment to look like? How do I want my image attachment to look like? If I want to make it as a scroll, I would put scroll. If I want my image to be fixed while scrolling, then I'll put fixed, and then local is just a default value. Background position would be, so how I want my background to be positioning. So here I'll give a value maybe. Okay, so these are the four most important, what do we say, four most important parameters of using a parallax effect tag. So you have to make sure that you're giving a background size, and you have to make sure that you're giving a background repeat, and then the third would be background attachment, and then a background position. Okay, so let me go ahead to the program. Okay, so background size, background repeat, background attachment, and then background position. Okay, so here you can see background image. I have given my image dia8.jpg, which is already present in this particular folder. So this is my folder, and then in that particular folder where my program is deciding, my image is present. Okay, so I've given my image. Okay, I've given the height of that image, which should be 500 px. I've given background attachment as fixed, background position as center, background repeat as no repeat, and background size as cover. Okay, and then this is just a, what do we say, an internal CSS which I have created. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll run this particular program. Where is my program? Yeah, so if you're able to see, this is how it will run. So I can even change values. So for example, here I have given what do we say, background attachment as scroll, fixed, and local. Okay, background attachment as scroll, fixed, and local. So what I'll do is I can even change this particular value, SCROLL. Okay, and then Control S, and then let's rerun. I don't know, the changes are very like it's very fixed. Let's just see how fixed works or local works. No, I'm not able to see any change. Background attachment. Let's set background size as length. Background size, what is the current value? Background size, it is cover, right? Let's give it to length, length. Background size as length. GTH, Control S. Yeah, so see here, if I give background size as length, it only, like my image, how it was expanded in my previous local thing, it just became very small. So in that way, you just have to make sure that you know these things, like what are the basic syntaxes which we have to make sure that we provide value to those fields. So background size, background repeat, background attachment, and then background position. So these four things you have to use. Okay. So as I told you in iframe, so for example, if you want to embed, let's say 2-3 YouTube videos. Okay. So how you'll be able to do it? Click on share, click on embed, copy this, go to your code, Control V. Okay, let me just paste it 2-3 times. Control S, go to your iframe tag example, and then rerun. So you'll be able to see all the four, whatever you imported, you'll be able to see. And then the advantage of it is you'll be able to run any kind of videos. You'll be able to run all those videos as well. So this is a website which I imported of Flipkart. These are the 3 or 4 YouTube videos which I imported. So to import my video into my web page, I'll be using iframe. I'll be using DLDT tag. I'll be using OLUL tag to present any kind of lists in my HTML program, to print an uppercase value. Okay, so anybody can tell me what is ASCII value to print uppercase? Since I repeated it 2-3 times in today's session.
65 to 90.
65 to
90.
Yeah, and for lowercase?
97.
97 to 122.
Yeah, okay, that's great. Okay, and then as Divyansh requested, what I'll do is in my next session, I'll prepare slides for cloud computing so that I can cover how do you build your path, how do you build your career path into cloud computing if you're willing to. And then I'll also cover some basic stuff like how do you create a VM instance, how do you create a VPC network, or how do you create a load balancer, or how do you create a VM instance of your own and then perform some operations in that VM instance. How do you check if that website is live or not? Okay, so I'll get a cloud console access for myself. Okay, and then I'll prepare slides, and then maybe next session you can expect, and then you'll get an update from the HR on that.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Happy Sunday to all of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Tushar. Bye.
Have a great day.
Same to you. Bye.
Bye.